Mm. Yay. I think I start every call by saying yay. And now I say JSAMP the right way too, not GSAMP, JSAMP, Joyful Soul Expansion Mentorship Program, second call of July. I'm very, very grateful that we get to be here and do this together. What a time to be here on Earth as we get to witness. It's tricky to talk about this because most of us, like if you're just in your little daily life, none of this stuff, you're like, what? Like, I'm just trying to pay my rent and stuff. But if you're on calls like this, it's because you have an inclination to be aware of more in your life than only your little daily life. We live in a time of major change. And when I used to be in sociology, like, some of the professors I would work with were like, that's said about every single era ever, like, and yeah, okay, sure. But it's also true that we're in a great time of transformations right now. There's a bunch of things that want to like tap into about, they talk about great resets, the 2030 agenda, all this blah, blah stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm more about the energy side of it. And I'm more about the beingness side of it, and of really coming back to being connected to our being and not just our ego and our mind. And what's actually going on, and there are certainly people that talk about this, is we are in this huge evolution. You've probably heard the expression, we're going into the fifth dimension, but it's the fifth dimension. Just, it means approaching life from a perspective where you're functioning from the heart. The heart is the center you're functioning from, as opposed to just the egoic mind and the ancient social structures that we've known for a long time. What that transition, and you might say, well, what about 4D? Where's 4D in there? 4D is the entire spirit realm. 4D is kind of like not the upper mind, but like the mental spiritual realm of everything we have been able to bring into existence through our thought patterns. So we already in 4D most of the time. Getting to 5D is getting to the place where we start seeing through the eyes of love. And you're not seeing things all separated anymore. What that is at a deeper level, though, in terms of densities, because that's about dimensions. In terms of densities, what's going on is this huge evolution from third density to fourth density. Third density is solar plexus, fourth density is heart chakra. So in both cases, we're talking about we're moving into more heart-based living. But this transition from third density to fourth density is not only experienced in us as a species, it is the earth going through this. And this is where it gets kind of trippy, because when you're very third density, 3D being, you don't think about a planet as a being. You don't, you're not thinking in these terms. In a 3D perspective, you tend to put a mental veneer over everything, and then you don't get to experience directly its aliveness. Like, I hope you've had the experience of gazing at a tree long enough to realize this is alive, right? It's not just this kind of tree that has that kind of leaf, and it has beingness in it. And the earth is very much a being as well. And, we call her Gaia. She is in this process as well. And we as her children, because our bodies are made of her, our bodies are made of minerals and vitamins and organic matter. It is her transition from third to fourth density that we are here to help embody and facilitate. So this is where it gets interesting, is that the whole idea of being pillars is so we can help that, is so we can Not help, like it can't happen without us. It can. Like I think at the end of the day, if it gets too ridiculous, humans can just kind of be taken off the earth and the earth can continue its evolution, which is kind of weird to consider, but we are here to facilitate that process. We are here to help that light get more and more grounded and in communion with the light that is already within the earth. This is not about saying the earth is dark and we're light and we're going to take the light from up there and we're going to bring it down here. And then it's because of me that Gaia has light. No. This is really tricky to talk about this because even the way we try to meditate, when we're like, I'm bringing light into my crown, into my body, we're acting like there isn't light in you already. You're made of light. The core of every cell is light. Your responsiveness to the light within you is what amplifies it outside. Your responsiveness to the light that wants to come in through you is what increases it and amplifies it. So it's not one or the other. It's coming from within, and by us accepting an active role, we assist. If I give you another example, it'd be like, let's say I'm doing energy healing on someone, okay? And I'm putting my hands on them. I'm not the one healing them. I don't get to act like I'm doing something. I am opening up my field and allowing the light that is already within me and that is everywhere around me and that is already within the other person. I allow the light that I'm channeling through me to amplify the light in them. I don't do anything to that person. That person does the healing in themselves. This is true for all of us. There's no such thing as this external thing healed me. This external thing had an effect on me. And that's tricky to talk about because we're like, what, your 3D egoic mind is like, of course that had an effect on me. If someone punches me in the face, that has an effect on me. You're not here to remain 3D. You're here because you're in an evolutionary process and you are choosing consciously to participate to the ascension energy, to the rising up of frequency, to the elevation and expansion of the consciousness that is already within you. Once again, it's already within you, just like it's already within Gaia. The fourth density, the fifth density, like it's all already there. We are just expanding our consciousness more and more in order to become aware of what's already there. So that's it. What I want to say, what I want to talk about tonight, and I just love the way it came in, is I've talked about this before too, but it's like, we're in an ascension process. So that ends up, most people are kind of like, we're going up there, we're going up there. And they want to leave the body. They want to leave the body and ascend. And this is the paradox. We are here to ground ascension into the body. We are here to ground, to be what grounds ascension into the earth. In other words, you need to ground your body in Gaia and ground your mind in God in order to be part of this process. This is not about I'm staying in a physical body or I'm going to go floaty up there and leave my physical body. This is about the deeper you ground in the earth, the more you're actually going to be able to be a pillar that allows through which ascension energies can really percolate and be alchemized. So as much as you can, when you are doing any form of meditation, really, really stay in your body. And like, I don't mean like if you're floating up in the universe, don't stop yourself and come back in your body, but bring your body with you. Let your body feel, bring that all the way down. Like when I'm doing soul alchemy work with students, I keep reminding them, how does that feel in your body? How does that feel in your body? Because we want to keep anchoring it in the body, anchoring it in the body. And the more you're able to stay grounded in your body, the more you're going to be able to feel where the energy patterns in you need your attention, need expansion energy to go into them. If you're floating outside of your body, you cannot know where your body needs work. And that's why we spent the first 6 months of the year doing that, like really feeling, the central line and the right and left side of the body, the front and the back of the body, really start to fine tune our ability to notice like, oh, okay, like I can feel energy coming out of the front of the chakra, but not really from the back. Just that is a huge part of the work already. I want to remind you, you becoming aware of where energy isn't flowing properly is already half the work of getting it flowing properly. Your awareness and your willingness to go into where the energy is like congested or not able to flow properly is all that's really required. If we go to the simplest understanding of energy healing, that's what we're talking about. Go back in these places that have been abandoned, neglected, like we didn't do it on purpose. We just didn't know what to do with it because it's just like, it's like patches of energy that are dense. By you bringing your awareness back in there and by you being willing to stay there and breathe into it and remain neutral and loving, like a curious observer that's like, oh, wow, it's like the energy doesn't flow there as well. And accepting to go back and re-experience that and notice through time as it goes along, as you go on, oh, there's more energy that flows there than before. You coming back into yourself completely, into yourselves, right? Like all these energy bodies, and really inhabiting that completely is the absolute requirement for you to be a pillar. There's no way around it. Like if our hairline's like, oh, it's pretty hard to be a pillar. If there are still energies in us that we don't want to feel, so we tend to like kind of lean into one side of us more than another, you can't be a pillar. You can try, but it's going to be kind of uncomfortable and you're going to wonder why you're not able to feel the energy, super clearly. And being a pillar is a very, very neutral experience. I was talking about that last time too. You're not doing this for anyone to be like, thank you for being a pillar. Like, fuck that. You are doing this because you are soul smart enough to know that there is great value in the energy being able to flow into you and through you, like smoothly and clearly. So we ground the body in God. We ground the mind in Gaia. And well, I just said the opposite, but maybe we can play with that a little bit during the meditation and actually do it ascending and descending. I love that when a mistake happens and you realize, ooh, what I meant to say, yet we will absolutely explore what that means in the meditation. You grounding your mind in God is allowing your mind to experience peace. And grounding our body in Gaia allows our body to experience trust. For your body to be in a state of trust, to know it is held, it is supported, everything it needs, all the building blocks, they're already all within. And for your mind to know that it can be in a place where it rests in the peace of God, that's how we get the heart to open more and more and more and more. Right? a body that trusts because it's been grounded back into its Mother Earth, and the mind that knows peace because it's been grounded back into its Divine Father. That's what allows our soul, which is the heart, to truly soar. And at the end of the day, that's our goal. To be a pillar of light means you allow your soul to fully come into this vessel. So we ground the body in Gaia, we ground the mind in God, and that's what lets the heart know it's time. She or he is ready. It's like if we think about it like gardening, it'd be like, your body grounded in Gaia is like a nice fertile soil. And your mind grounded in God is like a beautiful sunny day without a bunch of clouds in the way. And that allows the seed in your heart to grow. So, beautiful metaphor. I love it when stuff like that comes out of my mouth and I had no idea. And I love this idea of grounding the mind in Gaia and grounding the body in God. Yeah, that's literally gonna be part of the meditation tonight. So just a little side note, we're gonna start talking about solar plexus mutation next month, which is a really, really important process that's happening through this huge, like, transformational energy that we're in right now. It's a process happening over like 250 years, but it's like it's happening, and we're about to hit a major peak of it. And in a nutshell, the solar plexus mutation is a concept from human design, but basically it's the understanding of the evolution of intuition. Intuition has been a very spleen-based reactive energy, right? It's like the intuition that there's a tiger is going to eat me and I got to run. It's like a form of intuition that can easily kick in the gut reaction and fight flight instincts. And we are evolving into a form of intuition that is going to be able to use emotion as an information, no longer as like something that like takes over. Like, imagine what this looks like. You are a pillar of light. There is peace in your mind. There is trust in your body, and your heart is open. And all of a sudden, all the data, whether it be outside of you, inside of you, whether it be inside of someone else, whether it be thoughts or emotions, all of that becomes a neutral information that you get to receive and decide how you're going to respond to. That sounds pretty amazing. And you would think like, well, yeah, well, once that happens, then I'll be able to calm down. And it's like, sorry, but it's the opposite. You need to calm down before that can happen. We do that a lot, right? We're kind of like, well, yeah, well, like if I get proof that it's a good idea that I go do that, then I will. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't work like that. Like you have to make the move and then that things happen. So it's kind of the same thing with that. And that is once again, this all comes down to pillar work. If you are in a state where people's emotions or your own emotions can affect you and kind of like topple you down from your pillar, you can't be a stable pillar. That stable pillar is like, oof, no matter what's going on. No matter what's going on. So that's the goal. We just keep practicing that and practicing that. So tonight we're going to have fun a little bit with the central line and the inner, outer, inner kind of movement. And we're going to start bringing in the front, back, and left, right, which is like the 4 planes we've been working on for the first 6 months of the year. And I'm expecting it to be fun. And I didn't know, but it's supposedly we're going to go ground our body in God and ground our mind in Gaia. So okay. Let me just see if anything else. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want for us. Solid ground, a solid ground in us. Solid ground so we can be clear vessels. And when we do it together, it amplifies everything. So it's even better. I think that's all I want to say. So I remind you once again, just really understand, really, we've heard that about like alcoholics, you admitting you have a drinking problem is already 50% of the work, So apply the same logic to this. You becoming aware of where energy is not flowing that well in your body is already 50% of the work. The rest of the work is about accepting to go back into these spaces. And all this work that we do, this spiritual gym that we're in together, that's what we're doing. We're like more and more, we keep coming back to it and we keep expanding. We keep the training. We keep training. It's a muscle. The more we train it, the better we get at it. And the idea is to get to the place where in real time, you're like in the freaking grocery store or something, and all of a sudden you're aware, like, I feel something in the back of my field, and you kind of tune into yourself, what's going on in the back of your chakras, the front of your chakras, and your subtle bodies. And you're like, okay, there's definitely something going on there. You can look around, you might notice someone looking at you or whatever, but it doesn't matter. What matters is your ability to be inside of yourself and realize something's going on there. Let me bring me back in there. It's like you fully there equals other things can't be there. Maybe not right away, but if you're persistent and you keep letting these energy pockets and no, I'm claiming ownership of this space because it is your space. You are the sovereign being within you. The more you do that, the less energies can truly bother you. And the more you're able to receive it as information, that just helps you know where to aim. That's good. It's good to know where to aim. So please remember that. Make it a daily practice to just feel your energy bodies and feel that central line and just notice there are moments that it's going to be a lot straighter than others. And these moments, generally speaking, your mind is clear. And then you can start having that differentiation, like, okay, I can really tell the difference between that and that. Like when I'm with, whatever, this person, after I leave, I feel like this, after spending half a day, reading and cleaning my house and spending time with myself, I feel like this. It gets more and more obvious. And then you can start making choices. Because this is another thing about being a pillar. It doesn't make sense for you to be around people that destabilize you. That's also part of becoming responsible. Sometimes we're like, yeah, I'm just going to become a pillar of light. And then like, I can be around like whatever, and it's not going to affect me. And there's almost like a little spiritual bypass slash, not bully, but I don't even know what the right word is, like pompous, arrogant. That's not your goal. Your goal is to surround yourself within and without with energies that support you, with energies that assist you the same way you want to be of assistance. So that's a little bit of a tricky subject. I'm not going to go too deep down that rabbit hole because that normally starts flaring up our system. Like, it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Stop talking to my mom, or whatever. And not necessarily, but there are inner decisions to make about how you're going to let things affect you and what you're going to allow within your field because it's porous. Yet you get to decide what you allow there. Always. And the only way you can be truly sovereign and empowered to do that is if you are fully in there everywhere. So that's it. That's where I'm going to start the meditation. To be empowered is to be fully present in your field, all of it. All right. If I decide to put this on YouTube and you're watching this on YouTube, if you want to join us live or you want to do the first 6 months of the year and work on the 4 planes that I was speaking of, reach out, book a call, and let's talk.